God bless you, friends. This is Pastor Davis. I'm excited about being able to share today's message with you. Listen, there are some things in life that are incredibly easy, but there are other things in life that present us some difficulty. One of those things in life that present us with difficulty is change. Change has almost become a dirty word in our society. But regardless of how society looks at change, it does not change the fact that from time to time, we will take a look at ourselves, take a hard evaluation, and realize that we need to make a change. In today's message, I want to challenge you to look again at that prodigal son who found himself in the hog pen. But the good news is, the Bible says he came to himself. In other words, he recognized he needed to make a change. Let's go into the sanctuary and hear today's message. Listen, people of God, I want to begin this sermon, or this sermonic effort, by giving you several quotes concerning change. I need you to write them down, tweet them, Facebook them, do whatever it is you do to store and retain information. But I need for you to make sure you get them and you hold on to them. Is that all right? An author by the name of Jim Rohn said, "You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight." Jim Welch, the former CEO of General Motors, said, "You should always change before you have to." Another noted author by the name of Robert Anthony said, "The problem with blaming others for your laziness, lethargy, and lack of purpose is that when you blame others, you give up your power to change." Now, for anyone to change, the first thing you have to do is change your behavior. Let me say that again. For any of us to experience change, the first thing you have to do is change your behavior. You see, after you admit that you need to change, in order for you to change, the first thing you've got to do is change your behavior. I mean, when you think about it, people of God, it's really rather simple. I mean, if you really want to change your life, you have to start acting differently. Did you hear what I said? I said, if you really want to change your life, you have to start acting differently. For instance, if you want to stop smoking, stop buying cigarettes. If you want to stop drinking, then stop going to the liquor store. If you want to change that soul tie, then you stop calling them and stop letting them call you. If you want to get folk off your back, then stop bending over. I wish I had somebody. Because see, change always starts with behavior. Y'all praying with me? Let me suggest something else this morning. I'm just dropping nuggets and moving today, that's all. Let me suggest something else this morning. See, change is not something you can orchestrate for somebody else. I just helped about 7 of y'all, but you don't want to say amen. Change is not something you can orchestrate for somebody else. You cannot orchestrate somebody else's change. You can talk about it, you can pray about it, but you cannot do it. Are you hearing me? Listen, if you're a parent, you can beat that child until them folks show up at the front door to come get that child. You can punish them, you can put them in timeout, you can take their toys, but the reality is you really can't orchestrate somebody's change. Wife, you can go to Victoria and get all of her secrets. You can cook a wonderful dinner. You can put rose petals on the bed, but at the end of the day, he'll enjoy it all and still not change. Husband, oh husband, you can buy her the world. Let her carry it out the store in red bottom heels. She'll take it with a smile, but it still won't make her change. I wish I had somebody. Because you cannot orchestrate somebody else's change. See, the only change that you are in charge of is the change that needs to happen with you. Did you hear what I said? I knew I wasn't going to get too many amens today, Brother Mac, but that's all right. Let me give you another nugget. You didn't like that one. Here's the next one. You can change a person's environment, but that won't necessarily change their mentality. You can put them in a new environment. You can enroll them in a nicer school. You can move to a better neighborhood. You can introduce them to better people. You can change their environment, but that does not guarantee a change of mentality. And if your mentality does not change, you will not change. I wish I had somebody. You can change your conversation, but if you don't change your mentality, you will never recognize change. Because the Bible says, as you think, that's the way you behave. As you think, that's the way you carry yourself. yourself. As you think, that dictates what you do. So if you don't change your mentality, you will never change you. Look at your neighbor and say, you got to think a little differently. About 12 of y'all didn't like that one. Let me give you another nugget. I'm going to get to the text in a few minutes, but I'm dropping nuggets right now. There is no change without understanding. Do what, Davis? There is no change without understanding. What you talking about, preacher? Well, there has to be a reason. There has to be a purpose. There has to be a goal for you to really realize change in your life. See, saying I'm going to change just for the sake of change won't bring about any change in your life. See, if you're really going to change, there are some questions that you have to ask yourself. I'm changing for what? I'm changing to do what? I'm changing to be what? Because see, if you cannot answer the for what, the do what, and the be what, then what you've done will not last. I wish I had somebody. Now watch this. Now the reason I raised this issue is because many of us in here have some things about us that we want to change. There are some others of us in here who have some things that we need to change, and the critical question becomes, what does change look like? See, the reason many of us don't change is we don't have any idea as to what it looks like. You see, you have to have some idea as to what the finished product looks like in order for you to be faithful to the process. Are you praying with me? Listen, don't worry. Give me about 7 more minutes. I'm going to let you shout and we're going to go home. Is that all right? See, now, contrary to what many of you all like to believe about your pastor, when it comes to music, I appreciate more than Willie Hutch and Johnny Taylor. That's right, that's right. Quiet is kept. I'm really a fan of the famed opera singer Luciano Pavarotti. Yeah, look at your neighbor and say, he's a cultured brother. I wish I had somebody. See, some years ago, while doing an interview on NPR, he was asked, how was he able to be so good musically? They said, what is your secret? How is it that you have been so consistently good over the long haul? And he responded, people are always commenting on my voice control and how disciplined I must be. He said, but the truth is, I'm really not disciplined, I'm devoted. Somebody just missed that right there. Somebody just missed that right there. He said, people are always talking about how disciplined I am. He says, I'm really not disciplined. I'm just devoted. You see, when I'm devoted to something, it means nobody has to push me to make me do it. See, when I'm devoted to something, that means I'm motivated from within and I'm not moved by what's going on without. Are you hearing me? Here's the connection. Here's the connection. Here's the connection. You will only change when you are devoted to being who God created you to be. And it's your devotion that leads to your discipline. Because discipline does not always lead to devotion. Let me say it again. It is your devotion that will lead to your discipline, because discipline does not always lead to devotion. Yes, now watch this. Now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. So how many amens I get right here? Watch this. The only people who will not change are those who think that they're on the same level with God. The only people who will not change are those who think that they're on the same level with God. What do you mean, Chris Davis? Well, it was the prophet Micah who said, God changeth not. The New Testament writer says he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So if God does not change, and you think there's nothing in you, about you, or concerning you that needs to be changed, the first thing you need to change is your God complex. I wish I had somebody. If you think you've got it all together, and there is nothing about you that needs to be changed, the first thing you need to change is your God complex. Look at your neighbor and say, we all need a little work. Look at me and say, we all need a little work. All of us have got some things that we need to change.